Ahoy, me hearties, and welcome to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry, the Let's Try program here on the mighty Loading Ready Run video entertainment network. My name is Ian Horner, and I will be your navigator through tonight's proceedings. And as always, on the ones and twos over in the Crystal Gondola, we've got Paul.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us today, Paul. We've got a big one today. Well, a small one, rather a number of small ones, but a big spread of stuff. I didn't realize how much equipment is necessary to do the things that I want to do today. And the things that I want to do today are open some oysters and eat them. There's a bit more to it than just that, but that's the goal. I've been down to our local monger and picked up a large tray of, goodness, 14 oysters here. You can see them all here. These fellows are have been rack grown by one of our local oyster producers, and these fine folks over here were naturally farmed on the beach. So in case you're curious as to what type of oysters these are, I made sure to note that down. These little guys here are Pacific Paradise oysters. And I don't know anything about the flavor profile, and I'm excited to find out. The larger friends are, he said, opening his phone and trying to find them, are, yes, they are still considered extra small, but these are lighthouse oysters. And again, they are...
So where's is it the 6 on the right, or on that side are the ones that were growing on?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These folks are all tray grown, still in open water, but just grown on trays and pulled out and harvested that way. Whereas these are harvested just straight off the beach from where they're grown. Both of them here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada, on the island, in fact, too.
So would these be considered, the other ones be considered wild, or are they still just farmed on a beach?
They're still farmed, yeah. Beach farmed is, I guess, the term you might use. But they are all, and this is important, all still very much alive. At least in the United States, it is illegal to sell oysters within the shell if they are if they are dead, and you don't want to eat a dead one anyway because it's not going to taste very good. So when you're dealing with oysters, the first thing you're going to want to do is find a reputable person to monger you those oysters or harvest them freshly. You can spend a little time before you get to actually working with them, just like I'm going to spend a little time before I move on with the cooking portion to remind you that everything that we do is brought to you by Patreon.com and you for facilitating they facilitate the transaction. You make the magic happen with your money, putting your money where your mouth is, but don't touch your mouth to the computer. Patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Don't touch your mouth to the computer. Right, where were we? Stored at loadingreadyrun.com as well. You can help us out there. And of course, on YouTube, if you're watching this in the VODs, you can give yourself a little treat by supporting us by becoming a member there. Right, so where were we? Yes, you can keep these in your fridge for, Kenji Lopez Alt says, up to a week, as long as you keep them cool and covered with a moist towel. Now, the moist towel isn't necessarily there just to make the oysters feel at home by being wet. It's so that you don't end up suffocating the oysters. If you put them in a sealed container or use plastic wrap, they will die because they're living beings that need oxygen, and without it, they can't have it. And of course, oysters, being a being that lives in the tidal shoal zones, they do get exposed to air sometimes, and so they can survive short periods outside of the water. These, when I bought them, were directly inside the water, circulated. I'm sure they were actually in circulated water from the harvesting time to delivery at the store. But yeah, so let's cover these folks back up because we're not going to be getting to them just yet. In order to shuck oysters and have yourself a good time eating them raw, you need a couple of things. You need some oysters and a knife. Specifically, you're going to want some sort of a shucking knife. There's a couple of reasons for this. Oyster shucking knives are generally a little bit thicker in the blade than your standard knife, so they're not going to bend or shatter. They're also a little bit duller, so they're not going to cut you directly. However, you do want to protect your hands when using these, so I'm going to suggest, in addition to the knife and something to hold your oyster down, let's move those oysters out of the way for the moment because we don't need them for the next little while.
Because most knives aren't really designed to do that like twisting, prying motion. That's usually a number one not good thing to do with your knife.
That's exactly right, Paul. And moreover, you're pushing the knife up against some very not nasty, but it's shell material. It's gonna dull the knife. It's gonna bend the blade bits. It's gonna make your knife unhappy. The important thing about the oyster knife also is the tip, because that's what you're going to use to jam and wiggle into the hinge of the oyster that will allow it to pop open. And then what you'll do is you'll run your knife over the inside of the bottom shell. That will release the shell from muscle. Then you can run your knife underneath the other side and release the shell then and just suck it into your face. And once you get the practice down, I'm told that it's pretty easy and repeatable.
Now, are you have you had oysters often before?
The first time I had raw oysters was in a bar at PAX Prime a few years back. In fact, before the 2020s. So it's been a while since I've had a good feed of raw oysters, but I do very much enjoy them. And I don't like paying restaurant prices, and I like being able to do fun things at home. So I thought, hey, why not try out some oyster shucking? The knife itself was under $20, and there are untold amount of different styles available. I got the OXO Good Grip because it has a nice little hook on the blade, which apparently makes it easier to pop in there. But apparently anything will get the job done as long as it's made for the job of jamming it into a bivalve. Right, where should we start? I should start by explaining what we're going to do. So we've got the oysters. We got the two different varieties, so we can try two different types of oyster. I've also decided we're going to try two different ways of presenting the oyster, one of which is a classic mignette. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but it is a sauce of vinegar, shallots, and peppercorns that you drizzle small amounts into the oyster to go along with its liquor and tip it back and enjoy just a little bit of acidic tinge to the flavor. The other way is most people, when they hear about oysters, they think about Oysters Rockefeller. And so I looked up on how to make an Oysters Rockefeller and figured it seems good. But wait, Serious Eats has this other recipe just next door called Oysters Oaxaca, which is a play on words of the region of Mexico, from whence the cheese comes, mezcal comes, and other good things. Specifically also, tacos in the style of rajas con crema. That's it, which is roasted poblano peppers and cheese sauce, which is fantastic in taco form. And I thought it would be really, really nice to have on top of some oysters that we put under the grill. So yeah, oysters two ways.
That is such a large pepper.
This is a poblano. They're not as wide as as most of your regular green peppers or green bells, but they do get a bit longer. But they've got a nice, subtle, smoky heat to them, which is natural.
Yeah, I've never seen an actual spicy pepper that large. Usually that would be like a bell pepper or something. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to find out. We're going to teach you how to essentially make rolas con crema, but then we're going to grind it all down into a sauce and pipe it on top of some oysters that we shuck. So I think the first thing we want to do is actually deal with the oysters to get them ready for eating. And the reason I've got these bottles of water here on the table is because the first thing that you want to do when you've got your oysters is give them a good cleaning, because you don't know what sort of nasties are clinging to the shell or just around, especially around the edge of the shell where the mouth is, where my mouth is going to be when it's time to eat. So I'm going to just give these all a big old brushing, and then we will rinse them in another water, and then we'll call that ready to eat, I think. So I suppose I could have been talking a bit while doing this too, but...
Did you at any point say, oysters, I'm so glad you'll be able to join us for dinner?
I haven't communicated directly with the oysters just yet. But hello, oysters. I'm quite glad that you were able to join us for dinner. Oh, I'm not sure if you can see in the... yeah, you can definitely see there then. Let's move this bowl out of the way.
You can definitely see a certain amount of cloudiness there.
Yeah, cloudiness and chipped shell edges. That's...
So you want to make sure you get rid of that before you are doing it.
Exactly. And as I said, I'm just focusing on the shell opening area, because that's where it's going to have the chance to, a piece that flakes off the middle of the shell here isn't going to find its way into the oyster unless something's gone horribly wrong. But yeah, this is an important step, I'm realizing. Not that I wasn't going to do it anyway, but... you'll also note that all of these oysters have been... actually, you can pan there, Paul. Placed in a certain way on the tray, and that's because oysters have two distinct sides: their flat side and their rounded side. And the reason why you want to keep the cup side down is that that helps keep the liquid that's inside the oyster, which they refer to as the liquor, inside the oyster.
Does the existence or lack thereof of the barnacles on the oyster shell have any impact on anything?
No bearing whatsoever. Barnacles are happy friends who are also filter feeders who keep the ocean clean of debris, but they do not penetrate the shell of the oyster. They simply live on the surface.
I suppose these particular barnacles did not pick a good oyster to go for.
I mean, how could they have known, honestly? How could they have known they'd be internet streaming stars for just a short time?
It's true. It's true. Many oysters have this happen to them, but don't get the exposure beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
It's something anyway.
Also, because these are live oysters, this is probably going to be the loading ready run stream with the highest body count for a very long time, I think.
I guess with any luck, hopefully we won't have one with a higher body count.
I would hope not, personally, unless we're doing oysters for more people. But okay, that was just had something that was stuck to the shell there that I had to go with. But yeah. The thing I'm led to believe is important when you're working with oysters like this is smell. Smell will tell you a lot about whether or not these are good. And these all have the fresh smell of the ocean to them right now, which is, from my understanding, the smell that you want to be smelling. If you smell anything that seems off, that's time to abort and get yourself a new oyster to work with. But our sense of smell is very, very acute in human beings as to what is safe to eat and what is not. And while there are some foods where you need to get around that feeling, oysters should not be one of them. If in your processing of your oysters you ever find an oyster that seems to be open in any way, immediately give it a good little tap And if it doesn't close up nice and tight, throw it right away. It's gone. It's dead, and you do not want to be testing yourself with that. But I'd say
I mean, there's also, I mean, I know around here, and I'm sure other places have equivalent. There's occasions where there's like, red tide and various things that can happen, algae blooms and things that
yes,
keep an eye on. I mean, a reputable monger is not going to be selling stuff during a time when they're not supposed to be. But
if you were harvesting yourself, that's absolutely be aware of the local restrictions, and on top of that, any licensing that you may need to acquire in order to actually harvest oysters, because that does change from location to location. And I think we're just about done giving our oysters a little wash here. A little washy. Make sure, yeah, you just want to be. That hinge is the all-important part. Okay. Oysters seem to be ready to go back onto their ice bath, so I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to put these down for drainage later. I'll bet they'll smell great.
Yeah, that is always the struggle with cooking here in the studio is we are not really set up for proper drainage and so forth.
Nope. But we make do. We make do, and we can do a lot more than we ever think we can here. All right, gonna get these friends back on the ice. Okay. Next up, I guess we should just start with the mignonette, because that's going to be, we're going to need that to sit for a bit and let the flavors marinate while we put together the rest of the sauces. So for that, you're going to need 2 large shallots. Let's, this is a good time for Ian to also clear out his. You know what? Let's use one of the fresh shallots, both fresh for this. Had an old shallot in my fridge. I think we can salvage that, get what we need out of it. But this was also an opportunity for me to learn new things about how to cut shallots in a way that is better for the actual onion itself, apparently. Let me have a look here. So you need the 2 shallots. We're going to need half a cup of. They suggest white wine vinegar, but notes say that you can use any sort of mild wine vinegar or any mild vinegar itself. You don't want to use a balsamic or a sherry vinegar, something that's going to overpower the flavors. You want something that's going to meld well with them. And I think for me, that answer is going to be in the form of rice wine vinegar is what we're going to do here.
It's our old friend. We've seen that one a few times.
Yes, and we're just about in need of a new bottle here. And in fact, actually, that's a problem, and also 2 things that I just need to go grab from the kitchen. Because we need a small bowl to put this in addition to a measuring cup. Most other measurements that we'll be doing today will be a little bit loosey-goosey. We can eyeball them, but if we should find out how much vinegar we have. If I need to cut this recipe, I'm going to cut this recipe in half. All right.
Be careful when you are
It looks
eyeballing.
like we were smart enough to not have any bowls. So I'm just going to use one of these fancy ones.
No bowls. That sounds like us.
Fancy bowls for a fancy meal. Hornsey, England, 1974.
We certainly
And a
had
little pot.
a bunch of bowls at one point.
We sure did, didn't we?
I guess they got used for other things. Cool.
Or they're probably just already in use. I bet it's because of the various people eating cereal in this office more often due to that new show that's on.
Damn you! Monday morning moon base or whatever it's called.
Good
Good morning moon base.
There we go. Yeah.
Good morning moon base.
All right. Okay, so yeah, just get everything into the bowl and let it sit for 30 minutes. That's perfect. All right. So let's start with the rice wine vinegar. I think this is going to be enough. I think half a cup is going to be almost exactly what we get out of this. Oh, and he was wrong. Just under half a cup. So maybe let's cut this back a bit to just the one shallot. I think that will make sense. Yeah, let's go with the one big, real big boy. And we'll get our rice wine vinegar in the cup. Again, this a little goes a long way with this, not necessarily because it's specifically potent, but because you're not going to be using a lot of it. I think the half cup is intended for what, 24 oysters or something like that?
Ah, yeah. So. Now, do shallots have the same onion, cutting irritation thing?
They sure do.
Do you have a problem with that, or?
I do not, thankfully.
Yeah,
that might just be that I've cut enough onions and whatnot that I no longer notice.
Yeah, I feel like it caused me real grief when I was a kid, but these days I don't seem to really care too much. Like, it's all sorts of like, oh, you can wear goggles or cut them underwater or do all sorts of fancy things, and it's like, nah.
Or you can just do it. All right. So we're trying something new with the method today. We're going to open these up and kind of pedal it and then discard the core is what they suggest, or reserve for another use.
Oh, interesting.
I'm wondering how many, maybe I can get one more pedal set out of this one before getting to core. But apparently this is something, a method that allows you to keep the cell walls open a bit more. I think I've just flubbed that one up, but maybe I'm just using too small of a shallot.
So is the core of the shallot has a different flavor than the rest of it?
That's the implication, yeah. It's more intense. This does seem a bit more fiddly, though, than...
Yeah, it's definitely... I find it hard to imagine a professional chef fiddling about with doing all this stuff, considering the speed at which they usually are cutting onions and things.
Okay, I think if this is...
Now there
that looks like the core there.
What is the definition of the core? Yeah.
Yeah. But actually, yes, someone in the chat there was mentioning a super sharp knife helps with the onion. The irritant gets released in much higher quantities when using a dull knife, and that's, again, also partially why we're doing the cutting this way. Is the idea is you're doing less just breaking of the cell walls and more slicing, so things stay intact, and therefore the alliums don't get out as easily.
Oh, interesting. You're sort of slicing between the cell wall. I mean, I guess once you actually are dicing it, it's going to be, but interesting. Yeah.
This is the idea. This is something I've figured I'd try. It's not something I normally do myself, but... Right, and again, we are cutting at a table, which is...
weirdly low.
Yep. Also makes for difficult... knife usage. Yeah, I'm probably not going to... Oh, up to an hour, that's fine. We'll just add it in right now, then. No sense waiting. Now, when you're sitting while you're chopping like this, you end up sort of with what I call Tyrannosaurus posture.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah, okay. Oh, right, they want you... Yes, they figure you do it this way. And then You can just stack them, I think is the idea.
Although I feel like, when I was a kid, there, you used to do the thing where like, you'd be helping out with dinner or whatever, and you get sort of set up at the kitchen table with like a pile of carrots or a pile of beans or something to chop up. But of course, we weren't really going for speed at that point.
Mm-hmm. It was more just to give you something to do so you're not underfoot.
Keep the kid out of the way.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing. I don't work in a restaurant, but if I were to hazard a guess, the purpose of prep work before opening is so that you're not doing this sort of very intense and precise work while actually trying to cook food for people who are actively in the restaurant.
Now this is an interesting, quite sort of a philosophical question here. Mm-hmm. Saying, eBlock's asking, is there consideration for doing some more extensive slicing pre-stream, like you dice one and then you pull out the bowl, and here's some I prepared earlier.
Yeah, and there is a thought to that, and I have decided that this was going to be a program that it's important as a Let's Try program, in my opinion, for you to see all the parts that go into it.
I feel like, it's special, with cooking, but also, with some of the other sort of technological things, when you're taking apart and putting together the controllers or doing anything like that. There is definitely, like, if you go and look up a YouTube tutorial and, like, how to take apart an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller. The video will be like 5 minutes, and they'll be like, go do 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 do, and there you go.
It's done.
Seeing somebody actually do it for real, in real time, I think gives an idea of, this is what it actually is when you aren't edited and also someone who's done it a whole bunch of times before necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very different type of video. But yeah, I want people to know what is possible in 3 hours, even if it's not always fully successful. And that does mean that it changes what we can actually show and what sort of projects work on the show. But I think in the nigh decade we've been doing it.
And I don't think, like I think there may be an opportunity to do, something stuff at some point, to sort of explicitly do it as, almost as like a two-parter or something, like sort of being like, this is or something where it's like you do it and then you have to wait 12 hours.
Yeah. Like there's a pizza recipe, pizza dough recipe that I've been loving for the past while, and I think might actually work with even just the broiler that we've got in studio here. But that's a sort of recipe that does take time. Like it takes overnight at least 6 hours to fold the dough and properly mix it. And we can show at least the start of that thing off, but that's something where we would kind of have to bring in here's one I left in the fridge last night.
That's true. Right. There was that one time you did some that very tasty brisket or some sort of tasty roasted thing that
Yes.
During the subathon that was at the beginning of the subathon and then all the way at the end.
And that's how I was able to justify it, was the idea being that, okay, you've seen me start it off, now it's just going to sit in an immersion cooker for the next 3 days while we are still all of us online anyway, so it's technically still done on stream. And then we did the deep frying on the Saturday, and it was all good.
It was indeed all good.
I cannot believe how fast it disappeared. y'all like good things, so that's probably why. I think that my estimate of shallot was pretty exact. We've got just a little bit left here to get in, and it's
your shall estimate. Yeah, and I mean, as you say, it's if the recipe was for 24 oysters or something, it's going to be way more than we need for those purposes.
Like I said, you're looking at just a couple drops of like probably about half a teaspoon at most. If you're in there, covering up the flavor of the oysters with the sauce, well, why are you eating oysters? Just have a nice bowl of onion and vinegar soup. Well, it's gonna be a little bit more than just that. We need to get the pepper in there, but we need to toast the pepper first. I didn't mention that I was toasting pepper, did I?
No. I'm kind of glad I'm in here.
I'm glad I was able to find my mallet. I thought I'd lost it, but turns out, don't know why, but at some point in the past couple of years, my brother, who runs his bar in Japan, wanted a Lewis bag, which is a little bag that you use for crushing ice. And he wasn't able to find any in Japan. I mean, which is bizarre, but here we are. But he did find one on the Washington Delivery Company's website, and it came with a mallet for breaking ice as well. And he didn't want the mallet, and that's good because it would have cost a lot more to ship that to Japan than just a little canvas bag. But out of it, I got this nice, good, sturdy wood mallet.
Seems like a mallet that could crush some serious ice.
It's crushed ice. It's seen a lot of work in the kitchen and out. But yeah, I was worried I would have to bring in the dead blow hammer, which is not normally kitchen safe. All right, I think for the other sauce, because it's all going to get chopped up in the food processor, I think I'm just going to do my shallots in the conventional manner for that one. But this one, I've been getting less of the intense allium make you want to cry compounds. And so I think I am succeeding in my use of a sharp knife and proper cutting technique.
Interesting.
Yeah, the person who posted their version of this recipe said they were admonished by their cooking senior, but who was willing to take them under their wing and show them how to make the meal properly. And this is what they said was necessary. Cut your alliums this way, and then also don't crush them. Okay, we got that. Let's plug in the heater.
Now, Ian, I've never met your brother, I don't think.
I don't think so, no.
Unless I've met him in passing when he was in town sometime. But
he has not been to Canada not been to this part of Canada since he moved there. So
I never met your brother, but I do love this idea of going to Japan and walking into a random bar and seeing somebody that I'm imagining is looks like you, but maybe with either a fuller beard or with no beard or some sort of looks like you except slightly different facial hair.
He's got the hair too. That's the other thing.
I see. Just behind the bar.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll know it's me because if it's a Thursday or I guess Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, this will be playing in that bar.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, then, I guess you just heard us talking about that.
Yeah. Stubborns. No, neither of us grew up in Japan, but we've both spent a decent amount of time there. I was 2.5 years for me, and then about 3 years off and on through exchange programs for my brother, and then he just found a wife, and that was that.
Decided to stay.
Yeah. No, in fact, long-time Tinker Tailor viewers will remember that the model sushi that we put together a few weeks or a few months back was a gift for the show specifically.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's go fire 1600. So we just want to toast these peppercorns, apparently, until they start to smell aromatic. Until fragrant and warm to the touch.
It feels like that's telling you to stick your hand into a hot pan.
Into a hot pan? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. All right. Because we're doing it without oil, so I can't use the trick where we put the oil, we heat it up, put the oil in, and wait to see the little shimmer.
Oh.
I don't do this enough, honestly, toasting my spices. Because whenever I do, I'm always amazed at how much of a difference it actually makes in terms of the flavor. I guess it's just off screen here at the moment, but
yeah, I have heard that that's sort of the whatever the cheat code. You should always toast your spices, but as with you, I don't usually get around to doing that.
Terraten, yes, I actually do have an infrared thermometer that I use in the kitchen. Mainly gets used these days for working with. We're starting to smell here. Working with oil for deep frying. Because I'm now at the point where I am feeling very confident in my ability to read when a pan on my stove is ready for cooking.
Ian, I think your mic has dropped into your.
I think you're right. Ooh. Okay, these are ready, and they smell a bit like popcorn, actually. We're just going to spread them out on the towel here. The point is not to make them ground. The point is just to crack them, because that's where the flavor is going to marry into the vinegar. Let's have a look.
The devil's popcorn.
Ooh, okay, need to be a bit more violent than I think I do. Pop the top off my oil canister. Okay, that looks more cracked. We'll give him a couple more blows down in the area. Great. That feels good. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. That's cracked enough in my book.
Sorry, I guess I probably should have dropped down the mic a little bit on that one.
Maybe
Sorry,
I should have given you a bit more notice there.
I felt like people had kind of knew what was about to happen there.
I'd hope so. Ian grabs a hammer. What's he going to do with it? Oh no, he's hitting things. Okay.
Just make sure that that's not the towel that you say use to wipe your forehead or something later on.
Yes. All right, let's give this a little stir. You know what? I question their quantities. Is it 4 teaspoons? Well, Maybe we got a bit more pepper in there than we'd like, but
Well,
I think it'll be fine.
a little extra pepper never hurt anybody.
No, not at all.
Unless it was, in the eyes, of course.
Again, we're using such small amounts of it that we probably want it to be that potent. Okay, that's it for the mignonette sauce. Let's get started then with making the con crema. And to do that, I'm going to need to start the broiler up on the oven. Let's move the cable. And it is a polarized plug, thank goodness. We don't live that much in the past. Broil and stay on. Okay.
So
We're not rotisserieing and we're not convection, but we are grill broiling. So let's get the grill broiler on there. Meanwhile, let's get our poblanos ready.
So con crema, would that be, so it's like a poblano cream is basically what you're making?
Correct. Our rudimentary Spanish has paid off. So for this, what we're going to do is we're going to just take these poblanos, slice the top off, and get the innards out. So I'm going to, you know what? Let's make this easy on ourselves and just cut it straight down the middle. And then that makes it real easy to get that inside out. You want to get leave as much pith in as you like. Pith is usually where you get the heat from these peppers.
It's in a lot of peppers, the seeds are the most heat part,
Yep,
right?
the seeds and the white. In fact, if you work with jalapenos, try it out yourself. If you remove as much of the white and seeds from the interior of the jalapeno, you just get very little heat, to be honest. And I had that reminded to me last night when I had a jalapeno martini.
It wasn't particularly hot?
Well, no, it wasn't hot at all. But I think, if you're at a place called the Cactus Club, they probably are calibrating things for the gringos. Okay, there we go. Give that a little bit of wipe out with some paper towel too. Just a little oxidation in there.
Problem with the Cactus Club, of course, is if you've forgotten to bring your cactus, then you have to, take the loner cactus.
Oh, no one wants the loner cactus.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We got all of our bits, so let's slide those onto a baking sheet that we're going to line with some tin foil. Once I remember where I put it.
I see
over there.
Alcan, yeah.
When you're doing this at home, you've got your kitchen set up the way you like it. Everything's where it should be. Not so when you come to the studio. Well, that's just prime. Oh well. Right. Did I bring a bowl that's big enough for that? I did not. So we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. It being, we're going to get these, everything nice and oily. Because we don't want things sticking to anything else. And we want to make sure the oil is there to coat and help the cooking go along. So maybe I will, we'll just wipe it down with some oil to start with here. Just use the same paper towel. I mean, it just touched the inside of a thing, so it's fine. I'll just add a little bit of oil to the paper, and then we'll wipe it around, get a nice little coating on there. Let's add a bit more oil to the paper towel, get it to soak in just a bit, and then let's just wipe our peppers.
What kind of oil is this?
This is just your standard vegetable oil.
Just canola oil or something?
Yeah, we use canola oil in our house. Feel free to use any other form of cheap vegetable oil you like, but stay away from your fancy extra virgin olive oils. You don't want to waste them on something like this process, because we are actually going to be peeling the skins off of these peppers once we get them done.
Well, and like the smoke point for olive oil is lower than...
It is, yeah,
Then,
that too. But it's, I mean, you're paying a lot more for the olive oil to begin with, so no sense in wasting it on something that's not going to actually, A, contribute to the flavor of the food, B, was going to smoke up the joint. There's many reasons. But good call on getting the oil information out there. We're also going to throw in some scallions to this, to let them roast up and just get a nice blackened what you have. Now, for those wondering, I did wash my vegetables before I did come, so there is some prep that happened. But again, that's mainly based on the...
We don't really have a sink here.
Exactly.
It's easily accessible to the...
And yeah, I'm looking into camping sinks as well. People have suggested, even those basins that you use at your campsite just to, give you a little basin to fill up with water, could also be handy enough to make some of this work. But like I said, this was also a bit of Ian cleans out his fridge. It's some leftover stuff that he hadn't found uses for yet, so that's why these might look just a little bit wilted, but they will get the job done. Let's stick them.
It's always good, and to be fair, figuring out what to do with the random stuff left in your fridge is a real talent. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I'm very good at myself. I find I've got various sort of go-to recipes that I have, but when you end up with sort of half a little bit of something, half a little bit of something else, it can be
a little bit difficult too.
A pain in the butt to figure out something to do with it.
I mainly, when that happens, I like to just throw things that are about to go off into the freezer and then make some stock with them later. But
that's true, yeah.
So eventually you run out of freezer space, either because you have too much stuff that's going to become stock, or you have too much stock.
I also do that for sometimes I do that for food scraps and things too. Mm-hmm. If I have some food scraps that I'm not going to be, throwing them or putting them into the compost immediately, or going down to the compost immediately, it's nice to sort of make sure they don't stink up the place. Yeah. Although you do end up kind of looking like, some strange hoarder who's, yes, I must keep all my orange peels.
5-minute timer. Yeah, the other thing I like doing with my onion tops, specifically the green onion tops these days, is yakitori tare, the brush-on sweet sauce. I recently made one of a batch of that. I ran out of sugar and had to use maple syrup that we had on hand. Ooh. And oh my goodness, when you reduce that down with some teriyaki, a little bit of, or with some soy sauce, some mirin, and the rice vinegar. Ooh.
You're doing that Japanese Canadian fusion cooking.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think I got a recipe to send to my brother. Okay, well, while this is going here, we should chop up our extra not scallions, shallots. That's what those are. So we've done the scallions. We've got them in the baking sheet. They're when they're soft and lightly charred, in 5 to 8 minutes, we'll extract those. Still talking about the poblanos. Oh, good thing I did bring the pan. So shallots, garlic, and a generous pinch of salt. So let's get our other shallots chopped up here and ready to the pot. Yeah, I guess we'll use the bag of compost for the compostables. Let's chop it in half again. You know what? Let's just make this real easy on ourselves. No sense faffing about on this one. This is the other thing I've learned from watching restaurant prep videos that I'm not necessarily always going to mirror myself, but the amount of food wastage that can occur in restaurants just based on, amount of time used trying to get every last little bit out of the shallot versus, okay, we have people who want to eat now.
Right.
I'm sure a number of us grew up with at least grandparents who lived through a rather depressing time. And so,
in fact, it was known for that.
yeah, they put the definite article on it. Too large. Okay, thinly sliced. We got this. In fact, these don't even need to be diced. These just need to be sliced. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time. Well, we got one dice. Great. Let's slice the rest.
There is that definite, especially when you're doing, because you're doing the food prep and everything, that there's a lot of skill in the chef, trying to estimate, how much you're going to need and how much you're going to waste, and how many orders of, whatever your special you want to put on the menu that day, and all the different stuff, and then what you're going to do with it tomorrow for the ones that don't sell.
Soup.
All that kind of stuff.
All becomes soup.
And then, yeah. And when you can't figure that out very well, you see what happens on episodes of, Kitchen Nightmares or something.
Oh, how far gone is this one? This is fine. It's all getting blended up anyway, too. This is the other thing to keep in mind when you're cutting things or prepping things, is keep in mind how you're going to be using them in the cooking process. The reason why I'm okay with just going straight with slices instead of the dices is because we are going to be cooking these just to extract some aroma into the butter, and then from there, everything just gets blended up in a blender. You know what?
Right. So pre-cutting them a whole bunch doesn't even really help anything.
No. In fact, it's in fact we might even end up overcooking things if we're not careful. Speaking of which, let's give our vegetables a little rotation under the broiler so they cook evenly. But it's going to be another few minutes there. 3-minute timer. It's smelling great though. You're starting to get the smell of the poblanos smoking up the joint. And it's real nice. All right. So one more shallot, properly peeled and thinly sliced. Roughly thinly.
Roughly thinly.
Yeah. Definitely a valid note. Okay. Next up, we are going to with some garlic. So I need that back again.
That's definitely one of those cooking terms that if you aren't a very experienced chef and you see that or a very experienced or following recipes or whatever, and you're really focused on following the recipe, you see that note, chop them roughly thinly.
Yep.
You go, what the
The hell? So the recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic, which you know what that means. Roughly double that. For garlic that we're just roughly slicing, this is, I've found, the most useful way of letting it escape its skin. Is a good pound with a knife. If we were grating this, I'd be a little bit more careful about keeping the garlic intact, but I didn't get that one.
Right. Again, it's going to be all chopped up anyway in the food processor.
Yeah. Okay, this it's still a pain.
Yeah, are we at the point where recipes assume you're going to double the garlic, and so they half the garlic in the recipe?
Ooh, that's, I'd like to see
It's
some study
insidious.
on that.
Yeah. Or I wonder, the other one is like, I wonder how many, people who, do recipe blogs or whatever, have people complain about a recipe, and then when they ask them about it, you find out that they added way more garlic that is in the recipe. You go, well, that's probably why you thought it was a little too garlicky.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the opposite direction of those people who say, yeah, I followed your recipe, but I halved the amount of salt, and it doesn't taste right. Why is that?
Yeah. Maybe because, yeah.
Your comment about having the amount of salt is doing a lot of explaining about, et cetera, T-shirts, something.
Is it the Parks and Recreation? The person comes being like, the water at the water park, it says it shouldn't be drunk, but I made some tea with it and I got sick.
Ah, I see. Bully for you, then. All right, my watch is going crazy telling me to check these things, and I know they are not ready yet, but...
Your watch is like, hey, look, man, you just told me to tell you when 3 minutes are up.
I'm just going to let that stay in there because they look like they're just starting to sweat, and we want them to get a little bit crispy and black. That's fine. We got time to thinly slice the garlic.
I just got a whiff of that over here. It's starting to smell good.
Great, because we're just getting started. All right.
Yeah, right. Substitutions into recipes are always. I mean, I try, and I don't necessarily follow this, but I try anyway. The first time I do a recipe, I want to make sure I get all the good stuff.
Yep.
And then if I liked it, then in subsequent times I might start being like, well, this is basically this. I can swap this. I can do this. I can change this. And eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've gone too far now. Now I've ship of Theseus this recipe into a completely different recipe.
What do we call that? The Theseus limit?
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? I was putting water. No, not water. Butter. We were putting butter into the pan. Right. Okay. So we will need to wait until that's done before we can get the butter going. 2 tablespoons, though. So about that much by my eyeballs. And again, can never go wrong with too much butter. Well, you can, but it is difficult. If your mind's saying that's too much butter, then you're close to too much butter.
You're close to enough butter.
Yeah. But that butter has definitely taken residual heat in the pan. That's what's going on.
Oh, right, of course.
Why is that butter moving more than I think it should? Answer may surprise me. Alright. Take this chance to just tidy up my area just a bit. Okay, let's have another look at these. I didn't actually set a timer on them. Still need a bit more time. This is one of the issues with these stovetop dealios. Or desktop? Yeah, not stovetop.
Countertop.
Countertop, thank you. I just want to make sure I'm using the correct setting. Yep, grill, maximum, grill. Grill, maximum, broil. Good.
Although I will say, yeah, for me, often countertop is stovetop. Like,
yep, because it's the only counter space you have.
Well, and I've got like one of those sort of glass top ranges.
Yep. And
it's a 4, like, I don't think I have ever had all 4 burners going at once. Like, it's just, I'm just cooking for myself. I just don't have that many things that I need to cook at once. And so half of it is basically just additional counter space. I just make sure that I have the two
the 2 burners that you're not using.
The controls for the 2 burners I'm not using marked.
Yeah, do not use.
Do not use.
Are they taped up like the light switches in certain people's houses?
I do have like a bit of they're not like taped so they can't move, but I do have a piece of tape on them. They're also, it's one of those frustrating, like it's the four burners, but then the controls are along the front, and it's like front left, front left, back left, or back right, front right, or something. Like it's sort of, it's a very annoyingly unintuitive way that they have or set them up, and it's like there's a way you could have done this.
They're always very difficult to figure out. All right, I'm holding off on pulling these out. They're just about there. I might even see if I can get them a little bit closer to the burner for a couple seconds here. In fact, I am going to do that. DM. This is good to know too, because this is the same thing we're going to be using for the to actually roast the oysters and broil the oysters in the topping. So knowing how close you need to get it up to that rack to get things to brown nicely is important. But once we get them out, we are going to take the scallions aside, and then we are going to chop them up, get them ready to add to the butter and whatnot. And then we're going to pile all the polanos up into one big pile and tent the foil and let it sit for about 10 minutes. And that's going to give the polanos a chance to steam a bit more in their own juices and then make the skins release a little bit easier. And so I'll show you how that ends up happening when we can.
Well, would this be a good time to maybe take a quick break?
I was thinking that we take the break once we get them out and tented, and then we can just let that happen.
Alrighty.
Not necessarily a 10-minute break, but...
So you take the skins off, and that's just to like expose more surface area to the cream and stuff?
It's more to do with the fact that the skins are pretty tough on these. They're tougher on these peppers than they are on most other peppers you run into.
Oh, I see. So they're not usually eaten, eh?
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I have been doing it wrong for a number of years now, apparently.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But ooh, that smells even better. Yeah, I think we're just about there. Actually, no, we are there. Let's get those out. Off. Ding.
Ding.
Okay, and then importantly, need to make a space to set down that tray. That's not a plastic cutting board.
I am
You out.
I am very pleased that the ding on that is an actual like bell that is being hit as opposed to something that just goes beep beep.
All right, chat, if you want to see what I'm going for, this is pretty close to it.
Ooh.
And so ideally that would have come up a little bit quicker and we get a little bit more char on it, but as it stands, this is looking good. So I'm just going to take these out with my fingers, which is a terrible idea. Let's maybe use a spoon here.
Those do look very tasty.
And so the roasted onion flavor will be nice as well. And then let's just get all these into a pile. Whoop. And then kind of get that in there too. More pile. Just gonna tint things up, and it doesn't need to look pretty. It just needs to do the job. Also, I just found out that this particular oven tray is magnetic.
Ah.
Yeah. As the
as the tinfoil?
as the band on my watch caused it to rocket directly up towards my tender wrist.
Oof.
Yeah, you can hear that. So that's not the first time this watch band has utterly goozled one of my projects. Let me just take a second here to...
On the other hand, you
sure
get to find out what things are magnetic.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Well, it's how I found out that some of my paint pots are magnetic. You know, as I'm reaching across the table to grab a second model that I'm going to be working on, and the little paint pot full of paint rockets up towards my wrist.
Wow, this is a very, very strong magnet in there.
Yeah. It's good for my watch because it keeps it on my wrist, but not so good for anything else. That said, we're going to take a short little break here because this needs to rest and let the skin loosen. So get up, stretch your legs, swap your fluids. We'll be doing the same.
Yeah, rest and let your skin loosen.
Yes, loosen up your skin. And we'll be back with more Tinker Tailor Solder Fry in just a few minutes. Don't go all the way away. Welcome back to Tinker Tailor Solder Fry here on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. We're making oysters tonight, 2 ways. We've already put together our mignonette for raw oyster enjoyment. I've taken a sneaky taste test, and it is, while it is difficult to separate the liquid out from the chunks, it's delicious. This is going to be an absolute perfect accompaniment to these West Coast oysters that we have picked up already. And we are in the middle of waiting for our poblano peppers to sweat their skins off. When did we do Finnish cuisine? I don't know. Form it, 3, 2, 1. We're ready. So let's continue on with making ourselves some topping for the second form of oysters, the oysters Rockefeller. I think, I'm never sure how many of those X's you're actually supposed to pronounce. And I should really not...
Oaxaca feller? I don't know.
Yeah, I should find out. It's on my continent, for that matter. So, what we're going to do is we're going to just very easily, this is so much fun to do, actually, is we're going to just pinch, give a little pinch. Yep. And maybe those could use just a bit more time in the oven, but a little pinch in the right area. And we should be able to get that skin coming off. Oh, did these not roast long enough? I think they might not have. Yep, they might not have. Well, we'll do the best we can peeling the skin off these guys. It's a messy process. Get your fingers in there. This is unfortunately due to the way this all works. We can't just pop them back in the oven again. We're kind of past that stage. But if we can get as much of that skin off as we can, then that's for the best. Toss that in there. Okay. And I was all excited to show you folks something cool.
Just didn't quite separate from the body of the pepper enough. Eh?
Yeah, what happened here is the flesh of the pepper didn't necessarily get soft enough that the skin can pull away from it as easily as it should.
It is kind of like taking the little, taking the plastic off the new electronics, kind of.
It really is. Only on the electronics is abnormally warm.
And moist.
Yes. Yeah, moist and a little bit oily too, because we did add oil to that. Well, maybe the second one will do better than the first.
If your new flat screen television is this warm and moist, then you have a problem.
Look, I know it says organic OLED. It doesn't mean it like that. Okay, I think we're just going to have to deal with a bit of skin in our rajas, which is fine. It's better if there is no skin, but if this is the best we can do. Ooh, hot. Still very hot. Maybe I'll just try scraping with a knife. Nope, that's not going to help me. Not the way I want it to. Well, not as much as I want it to. Oh well. Ooh, there's a good purchase. And you know what else is a good purchase? A hoodie over at store.loadingreadyrun.com. Not only will it help you find purchase with, well, your bank account in dollars, but the added textural affect of the fabric of the hoodie will allow easier grippage for your friends and family should they need to get a hold of you at a moment's notice. All right, that's another one that's good enough. This one feels like it should separate pretty well. Oh, here we go, Chad. Don't make a liar of me. Don't you make a liar of me, Poblano. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's how you want your skin to come off. And yes, I do know that I'm just quote farming at this point.
Mm. Oh, hello, Surge After Dark raiding party. Now, the Surge raiding the Surge people are the coffee crew. What's the Surge After Dark? The Dark Roast crew?
The decaf division. I'm kidding. Surge would never decaf. Although the Swiss water decaffeination process is a fascinating thing. Good enough. And this one, yes, our friend at the bottom looks like they got a good skin separation too. It's like peeling off a sunburn. I haven't been sunburned in a long time, so.
Again, if your sunburn does this, then please seek medical attention.
Or seek some cream and tortillas. You may be entitled to some deliciousness. So we've been trying to reach you about your fridge's contents. There's so much good stuff in there. I wonder if that's a service that might have legs, where you post what you've got on in your fridge and pantry to the website, and they will send someone out to cook something for you with the ingredients you already have.
I mean, I was gonna say post what you have and then it tries to find a recipe for you is certainly an existing service. In fact, I believe there are ones that do it via AI, which is probably a terrible idea.
Yeah, those I'm not too.
But there are ones that do it. Although I think there's also AI image recognition and stuff to actually figure out what you have. But not they don't actually send a guy to do it for you. I think that would be that's an important aspect of this idea.
Clearly you're too lazy to cook based on everything that's in your fridge. So we send you what you need, a guy to deal with it.
Yeah, it's sort of the opposite of the meal prep service.
We don't deliver you the ingredients. We deliver you the
cook in order to make the ingredients. You have to supply the ingredients.
Okay. So now we're going to medium saucepan, heat the butter, add the shallots, garlic, and generous pinch of salt. Cook, stirring occasionally until softened, 6 to 8 minutes. Then add the poblanos and scallions and continue to cook until the vegetables have released all of their liquid. And the liquid has evaporated another illegible number of minutes. 3 minutes. Stir in the crema, lime zest, and ground coriander. So we'll need to zest a lime and get ready with the coriander. I mean, I'm always ready with the coriander, but that's just me. Again, get your own. I keep mine in a little jar. What do you think I was talking about? Let's get things heated up. Medium heat is what yes. Medium-low heat until foaming. Well, we're almost there. While that's doing, let's break out the zestar and the microplane.
Ooh.
And
zesty.
Yes, this was a gift from my personal coriander earlier this year for my birthday, because I've always wanted an actual microplane, and by God, this is one of those things where paying for the brand name pays off. I've used other zesters and fine graters, but the microplane really does it for me.
I've had coriander for years in my pantry for years, and it's never given me anything. So it's great.
I just need to get the right kind. All right, in you go, shallots and garlic. You're about to make things smell divine in here. All right, we'll just leave that to get up to a bit of temperature. Maybe bring it down a bit in heat so it's not gonna go. I just want to make sure that I'm using the whole lime here. Yep, finally grated zest of 1 lime, so an entire lime's worth.
Are you? Does this also use the juice of the lime, or is that?
Yep, you're welcome to juice some lime over the oysters in the end, but it's not a necessity. But lime is one of those very good things just to squeeze over. Really, any seafood.
It's true.
But
I often have. I like to just have some. I mean, not. I usually have like the sort of lime, just like lime juice, as a. It's just a nice to put in, drinks or on different things.
Oh yeah. Now, do you you keep a bottle of the lime juice in your fridge then?
Yeah, depending on how much I want to, sometimes they have those little whatever real lime, and then sometimes you actually just get like the bottle.
Yeah,
Luckily, it's pretty. I feel like it's pretty stable stuff.
Oh,
It's so acidic that not much can grow in it, so can last for quite a while.
I have absolutely become a convert to the just going straight juice for my lemon and lime juice. So juicing it directly from the thing whenever I need it. But that means I usually end up having it like half a lime or half a lemon afterwards. That then gets put into carbonated water.
Yeah. Having a bunch of fresh limes around is I'm not. I don't usually have the foresight to have that. But.
And then, of course, be aware of the cost as well.
But I think in almost any situation that calls for lemons, I prefer lime. Like I like the flavor of lime better than lemon.
I generally agree with you.
I'm sure there are exceptions, but
yeah.
But in general, I'd have to say that
it is the superior citrus.
A little, especially, is one of those things where one of my favorite iced, if I'm buying like iced tea, bottled iced tea, you get there's like the green, honey green tea with lime.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really, really good. That I very like. And then it wasn't. It was distressing. It took me a distressingly long time to realize that it's like, wait, I have green tea, I have honey, I have lime. I can just make this.
Yep.
And it's delicious.
Turns out. I know I've talked before about my current obsession with the apple cider vinegar. As again, same sort of idea, just adding an acid to the carbonated water to give it just that extra little flavor.
Yeah.
And it's been thinking about expanding out into possible other vinegars as well to see how that goes. Okay, gotta keep the heat down because we don't want to brown this stuff. We just want to sweat it and make it release all the juices and oils within the aromatics. Let's do this 2 at a time. Hoop, hoop, hoop. So yeah, without the skins, these become extremely soft and just, delicious. Unfortunately, we have a bit of skin on some of them, so I'm hoping that once it all goes through the food processor, it'll paste out in a nicer way. But there may be just a bit of cellulose in here, just as a fair warning. I also have a feeling we're going to have more than enough for what we need for the number we're doing, but that's okay. I can always, like I said, the Rockefeller sauce will be good once cooked for up to a day or 2 in the fridge.
It feels like a kind of a sauce that could improve mini dishes.
Ooh, that's a good point. But yeah, I might honestly just after work tomorrow head on down to the old fishmonger and get myself another feed of oysters. Okay.
I mean, I did. Corey and Cameron were doing the talking sim this afternoon, and Corey was heading out. She said, enjoy the oysters. And I was like, well, are you going to get some tonight? And she was like, nope.
Unfortunately, I don't feel like food travels well between the moon base and home.
No, that's probably true.
Yeah. Especially when we're dealing with things that are technically raw.
Yeah.
All right, so we've done that. We're doing the heating of the things. Then we'll add the poblanos and scallions. And then continue to cook for 3 more minutes. Then we'll stir in the crema, the lime zest, and the ground coriander. Continue to cook until slightly thickened and well combined, about 1 more minute. Off heat, turn the mezcal in, and then transfer into the food processor bowl. Okay, and then finally, we add the cilantro. And the panko as well.
Ooh, panko.
And this is an interesting one. Or not an interesting, just a public service announcement. So this is how I buy my panko. I don't make it myself because I couldn't be bothered. And
having to, catch and skin the panko monster or whatever it is.
yeah. But best before August 24th, 2025, and it is the 28th. Yeah, heaven forbid. It's not an expiry date, people. It's a best before date. Expiry dates do exist, and they matter. But for best before, again, trust your nose. I've run into panko bags that have gone past their best before date, and I can tell when they're off because they smell rancid. The oil turns, and these is still good and clean. So we're going to keep using it. Don't throw away good food that you don't have to, is what I'm saying.
And also, don't eat food that is clearly bad, even though it hasn't hit the expiration date yet.
Yes, that too. If your food is bad, smells bad, and it hasn't hit the expiration, also good time to dispose.
Definitely thrown away 1 or 2, you get those bag salads or something, and they're usually fine. But once or twice, they've gotten a little slimy and liquidy.
Yeah.
Way before what the best before date would indicate.
I had an entire bag of tortellini go fully moldy on me in the fridge.
A bag
An
of
entire week before the best before date on it.
A bag of Oh, I see, cooked tortellini.
Yeah, pre-made 3 cheese tortellini.
Oh no.
So
Which one of the cheeses was the culprit?
That one actually went back to the store, and I said, yeah, "Hey, when it goes off before its best before date, it's not a problem with you, the store. That's something you need to take back to Olivieri and say, hey, check your preservatives, check your batches. This shouldn't happen in a sealed package." All right. Let's get our yogurt ready. So, recipe calls for Mexican crema. I can't find Mexican crema in Victoria. The first option for substitution is creme fraiche. I can't find creme fraiche in Victoria. So, what do? Well, third substitution is yogurt. High-fat Greek-style or Balkan-style yogurt. This is 9%. This is something I've actually used for arroz con crema, which is essentially kind of what we're making here in the first place.
I would think that it's interesting. I would think that yogurt has quite a bit of a stronger flavor than just creme fraiche usually has.
Well, creme fraiche, agreed. Creme fraiche they usually want because it's a little creamier. But what you're really looking for when you're looking to copy Mexican crema, from my understanding, is the acidic bite, which the yogurt absolutely has there.
Yeah, I don't know what is crema. Is that does it have a yogurt culture in it, or
you know what, I don't know that it does, but it's essentially very similar to creme fraiche in that it is just a creamy, cheesy, high-fat topping or ingredient, and not necessarily topping by itself. Sour cream is the next one down in the list
Right,
of
yeah.
accessible ones. And that's why you often get in Tex-Mex food, specifically in North America, sour cream added to a lot of the Tex-Mex dishes. It serves the same purpose.
I mean, sour cream really works well with any of the sort of acidic stuff. It sort of balances that out really nicely.
Yeah, and it's also got its own low pH.
Yeah,
Yes.
sour cream has got no, acidic is low, so isn't sour cream a little bit basic? No? I don't know.
I don't think so. According, at least what my taste bud memories are telling me.
Yeah. Yeah, sour cream has got a little bit basic. You get some sour cream and like some borscht or something. Get to cut the vinegar a little bit.
Ah, okay. Just disassembling the. Whew, there we go. The food processor doesn't get that big of a workout, but when I do use it, it is necessary. All right, I'm just gonna kind of shimmy over here and have a look at how our vegetables are doing. So 3 minutes, it says we've done. We want to make sure this is nice and really, really smooth stuff. Oh yeah. So I think the vegetables aren't quite cooked through yet, but that's okay because it'll get that way once we continue to cook with the creme. Continue to cook until all of their liquid has been released.
I didn't. What? Apparently, Adam was talking about taking a bath in sour cream at some point. I am not up on this particular piece of mythology.
Nor am I. That it sounds kind of luxurious in a certain way.
There's a video many years ago that we did. I'm trying to remember why, but for whatever the context was, it required me it was supposed to be I was bathing in milk.
Was it perhaps a no, the skunk thing would have been tomato juice, if I recall. That's what you do with skunk spray.
But yeah, in the video, I have to bathe in milk, and so we did a bath, and obviously, and we didn't. It wasn't full of milk. We just put like, I don't know, like a liter of milk or something in the entire bath, just to color it, right? And it worked pretty well. And I did notice, like afterwards, I felt like it had like a little bit of, there's like a slight like exfoliating feel.
Interesting.
Why real milk? I mean, if you need something that is opaque and white and looks like milk, and you can't get much cheaper than milk, I don't think.
Nope. All right, there we go.
I'm trying to remember what it was for. It wasn't just for fun. It was for a sketch.
Yeah.
I try to remember. It was like I think it was an X ways to Y or something. I'm trying to remember why though.
What the why was?
Oh, was it? Maybe it was like I was like trying to get rid of a dead body, and it was supposed to be like a lye bath or something that I was being put into, because I was the dead body, of course.
Also, incidentally, is it possible to get a bit more of your volume in the room?
Oh yeah, we could probably do that.
Thank you. Oh, here we go. Surprised I don't want any pepper in this, but
Is that better?
oh, that's a bit too much now. Just pull it back just a bit. Happy with how that looks now. All right. So
How about that?
that's perfect. Now I can hear you,
All right.
but you're not. You're not
It's-
overly loud.
It's it's always that trying to balance that of being able to hear it, but then not echoing back through your microphone. So hopefully that still sounds okay for people watching.
I think
Yeah,
we're-
right. Because they had to carry me and dump me into the bath, and then I hit my head on the tap.
All right. Well, things have thickened up, and that should be good. Now we're just going to add a bit of mezcal to it. That's enough. Just want a teaspoon or so of that.
I will say that, like, I haven't eaten oysters, but they struck me. I've always sort of thought of them as having a fairly delicate flavor, and it seems like this this topping that you're making is going to be a quite flavorful, delicious topping.
Yep.
I feel like in some ways it might not be the oyster might not actually can be coming through it too much.
So that's why I'm trying it two ways here, and why I was glad that my monger had at least two different oysters, because oysters have a wide variety of flavors. They can be very, as you say, very delicate, but some of them can be much more flavor forward, with a flavor of cucumbers, or you're getting a lot of the ocean flavor as well, as per usual. But it depends on size, diet, location. You know, the terroir of oysters is in fact real.
Okay. And so you actually so you got both these oysters at the same place. Like they were selling multiple different types of oysters.
Yep. And I even asked them, like, which, you know, if I'm eating these raw, which do you prefer? And they said, it doesn't matter. They were not exactly helpful in that respect, but.
Ian, sorry, I think your microphone has
Oh,
slipped
is it
into
slipped
your.
again?
Yeah.
Let me see that.
I will just mute him on the board here for a sec.
Let's hope that's a better position. How does it sound, Paul?
Yeah, that's better.
Great. Okay. Right, we need to get this in here. And then we need to get the top on. Where is the top? There's the top. And let's see here. So, process the vegetables, scraping down the sides of the food processor bowl as needed into a coarse paste about 30 seconds. Then add the cilantro, and add that, and then add the panko and pulse until they're fully incorporated. Then season with salt. And then we get to start shucking oysters. Well, once I get this into the bag, but we'll get there. Anyway, let's start pulsing. That's the direction. Yep, bowl lock that way. Aha! Bowl locked. Okay.
Bowl is locked.
Right. We need to plug it in. Luckily, this one is still under warranty, but still would be annoying. 3, 4, 5. Let's give it a... No, we don't need this. Yeah, go to 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's give it a little scrape. Oh, there's not much need to scrape too much. Oh, the smell on this, though, is... We made some good decisions, chat, with regards to garlic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I'm just going to pull this off here.
Are you?
I'm going to try my best. Oh, you need to unlock the top before you can unlock the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show you all. From here, you can see the little bits of the skin that are still in there. I think if we managed to get all the skins off, all those little green flecks would be gone.
The slightly darker.
Yeah. But I think we're okay with this so far. All right, so we got that in there. Next up, we're going to add the cilantro, which I've already pre-processed at home. Get the top out, and then we can just dunk that into the machine by itself. Pulse that for about a minute, or until incorporated. That looks pretty pulsed. Okay. Coarse paste, cilantro is broken down and well combined with vegetable paste, I think. Yep, looks like it. Let's now add a half cup of panko. Panko, 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 fried up little bits. They're the little bits that make you smile. Dear Miyazaki-san, please do not mute my stream.
You know he's personally going around and checking everything.
Ditto Hisayashi-san. I think we've done it. Let's double check. Now let's give it a little taste, because there's no reason not to give ourselves a taste test. We deserve it. Where's my dirty spoon? There you are.
It's almost like pesto.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh my. I don't believe I've ever had anything like that before. And not in a bad way. That's just very...
I was going to say, that's very like you're at a dinner party and somebody has just served you something and you have to say something about it.
Mm-hmm. This needs just a bit of salt, but I want it to be on the err on the side of caution because, as they say, the oysters themselves can be a bit salty. Oops, yeah, we want that half unlocked. And then pulsey. Okay. Where do you go? There you are. Yeah, that does it. There we go.
Just that little bit of salt just kind of brings out the flavor.
Yeah, it's, yeah. Just a little bit of salt is enough to wake things up.
I've found that weirdly, like, sugar sometimes does that as well. Like, adding a little bit of sugar doesn't even really make it something sweeter, but somehow it's almost like, MSG or something. Like it doesn't make it sweeter. It just somehow makes it more of whatever flavor it already had.
Salt, sugar, acid, and fat are the things that that make things taste good. There's actually a Netflix series from the pandemic era by that title name. Now that
Salt, sugar, acid, fat?
Yeah.
It's the all cooking Tinker Tailor Solder Fry.
Essentially. Let's use this one, but I'm just going to wipe out the bottom a bit. So this is a trick for filling your piping bags. Oh, did I mention that you pipe this onto the oysters? Like icing.
Get piped.
And I've seen some pretty, let me tell you, I've seen some pretty cavalier piping techniques here on this program.
The multi-ended piping system that Angel was testing out during the showdown during the subathon.
A little ambitious, yeah.
It was a little, didn't quite work out, but the cupcakes were very tasty.
Mm-hmm. But I figured
Oh no, she's watching.
Yeah, hopefully she's watching. But I figured I'd put my money where my mouth is and do a little piping myself, rather than just sit in the background and judge. Wait, I didn't even judge. That's right. The chairman Kaga does not. Oh, the chairman is not allowed to render a verdict unless it is a second tie. And you just need to stop filming for reasons of everyone's very tired that day.
Has that happened? He's had to render a verdict.
I think
has to break a tie once.
I know it's happened once. It might have happened a second time, but yeah, it was an Iron Chef episode where they went to time, and it was a tie game, which means they go into a 40-minute, I believe it is, overtime battle. Mm-hmm. And then it was still a tie, and so Kaga was like, "Well, I guess I just have to cast a final vote for the first time ever." You.
I do kind of like the idea that Chairman Kaga is like, "No, you will stay here." Really lean into the eccentric billionaire on a whatever who's brought people to his evil lair to do a cooking contest. I don't know quite what's happening.
You're here till we're done. Okay, just moving things around here to give myself space because it's time for us to let this just rest for a while. Yes. Get all the air out of there because you don't want your herbs to oxidize. You want to have that nice green color on top when it's time. Okay, now comes the part where I am much less confident in what I'm about to do.
All that was merely a prelude.
Mm-hmm. To the shuckening. Oh. The ice has begun to melt, so that's probably a good sign that we're at the right stage. So we've got the one there.
Oyster 2, the shuckening.
How's the view on camera 5? Let's just shift that out of the way there then, and I'm actually going to just adjust that camera. So we're going to be right there.
Are you going to be having them on the cutting board as opposed to holding them up?
Yeah, no, I'm not. So there is a technique to this, and it does not involve holding them with your hand.
Oh,
that's the issue. All right, let's.
You mean you don't hold it and then put the sharp knife into the same thing that you're holding? Yeah, I guess that's a good idea.
Yeah. So let's start with preparing our sheet for the baked oysters, because we're going to do things both at the same time. Where's my all can here? So this is a trick that I've learned and have never used, and I'm about to find out if it works at all. You're going to take some tin foil, and you're going to scrunch it up. Maybe we'll need a second one of those too. But the idea is that you're providing a surface that you can kind of compress and keep the oysters upright with. In fact, I'll do that twice. Okay. And actually, we'll probably want to do that for our other oysters as well. The other options you can do are, if you want to be fancy and maybe try reusing things, you can use rock salt. Just pour in a ½ inch of rock salt, and that's enough to keep the oysters upright in a way that can be manipulated. Right, let's just do this. Lift. And let's get this out, give it a quick wipe, and then we'll put some tin foil in there as well. And there we go. The ice is doing a mighty good job of keeping them cold right now, but it's not doing such a good job of keeping them upright. And now I've got a use for tinfoil. There's some water coming through here, but that's all right. Just keep the towels away. Okay. Let's make a bit more space so we have room for 2 sets of oyster trays. Everything's going to go through the dishwasher once we're done tonight. That's for sure. Okay. Here we go. Let's lay down a wet tape paper towel underneath our cutting board so that it doesn't move around on us. Good. That's good and secure. We've got our discard bowl here, which I'm going to line with a bag so it can go straight in the trash without smelling up the joint. Going to take a sip of the drink. For those questioning, tonight's beer is Tickety Boo British Pale Ale from Twin City Brewings. And the first of our friends from the sea will be one of our tray-raised little guys here. Here's something else I recommend, because these are great anyway, and they're cheap, and you should buy them either locally or on the Washington Delivery Company, whatever is useful, but just get one if you're going to be doing anything with a mandolin, or if you're going to be shucking oysters, cut resistance gloves, and puncture resistant. Mainly what these are here to do is that if I end up coming from the wrong side of the oyster and missing something, it's going to glance off the side and not cut my hand.
Very good.
Yeah. So we're going to start by laying down a towel here. This is further protecting our hands as well. Let's flip that up there and put it down. You want to get it in a position where it's secured, where it's not going to move around when you start trying to get in there. So I can feel that I've got a pretty good grip there. And then you're going to look for that area, that hinge. And I think that's right where it is there. And this is where you're going to try and find a purchase for your knife. And this is where that front end really... See, I didn't find it there. So I need to go deeper, I think is what happened, is what needs to occur there. Let's get some paper towel in here so that I can clean off the knife blade too when it inevitably gets covered in stuff. Okay. Apparently you're just looking around trying to find purchase. Ah, there we go. I think I found it. And then we're gonna, there it is. And it popped. And so now we're just gonna wiggle it out. Clean off our blade again so we don't get any shells in there, or we reduce the amount of shells we get inside. Ideally you want none. And you're just gonna work your blade along the edge until you've managed to pop it open all the way along. Okay, oop, might have gone too far there. And then it releases, and then you slow... Okay, let's have a look here now. Other way. See there? You get a little bit of muscle at the top there. Again, keep your blade clean as long as possible. And then you're just going to slide your knife on the top here to separate the muscle from the oyster, and look at that. Then, clean up your area, try to see if there's any bits and bobs that you don't want in there that, are actual bits of shell. Inspect your oyster. Take that knife again, line it under the oyster to fully release it. Again, trying to keep as much of the liquid inside the shell as you can, because that's apparently the good stuff. And that, I think, is a shucked oyster.
Now, is this the first time you've actually shucked oysters?
That was the first oyster I have ever shucked, Paul.
Ah.
And
you did it with such authority.
I think that went rather well. Thank you. It was just study. So let's continue. Well, that was one of the tray raised ones. Let's just for fun do one of our wild boys, and then I'm actually going to do a quick taste test just for fun. And then we'll get into the business of shucking the rest of them here. So, knife in hand, oyster secured. Wiggle it into the joint. Oh, yeah. So we had a little bit of lift of the outer shell, which I had earlier, but now I've actually now I've felt the knife go in, and there it goes. It's wiggled in, and now it's just a matter of following along the edges. And this one has a very different smell to it. Not a bad smell, but it is absolutely the smell of of the sea. There we go.
Whereas the other one didn't have as much of a sea smell?
No, it didn't, oddly enough.
Interesting.
Yep. And I've definitely, okay, you can see here, Ian was bad. Watch me scrape away just the littlest bit of shells there. Try and get that out of the oyster without disturbing it. And some on the back here. Oh yeah, big chunks. I am unskilled so far. But we'll get there. And then we'll just take that down again underneath.
This is one of those things where there's, you see the like YouTube videos or whatever of the, usually some like old grandmother who just, is shucking like, whatever, 30 a minute. Just
yeah. womp, womp, womp. So there we go. And I've flipped this one over. That's apparently something some people like to do. It doesn't actually matter. But yeah, there we go. That is a... So let's bring out the other one here, and let's do a compare and contrast between the two of them. A little bit less liquid in this one. The liquid you can see is also clearer.
It seems like the shore raised one also is sort of like the actual oyster seems to it seems to be bigger, even though like the shell is not that different in size. It occupies more space inside the shell.
Yeah, it's a thicker oyster. So let's, and by let's, I mean me, I'm going to give one of these a try here.
All right. You're just going to go straight without any of the sauces?
You know what? I believe that's the correct thing to do, actually. And then see if you can give you a difference of opinion in their taste. Let's start with the thin guy. Oh my. Oh, they're just a little bit salty, but fresh. And there's a back end of seaweed to it, actually. And then, yeah, here comes a wave of iodine, which is that's good. I like that. Let's try Wildy here. Whoa. Oh. Much more salt on that one. But the meat of it was much sweeter. And then here's the aftertaste of cucumber that's coming through that I've heard about but haven't actually experienced yet. Wow, that's... Okay, question for you, Paul. Do you want to try one just straight up without any anything on it?
Sure, yeah, I'd be up for that. Maybe not just in terms of conservation of oysters for all the different things we have. Maybe not like both types, but try. I was thinking maybe I should actually get a mic and come out.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. In the meantime, I'm going to start preheating the oven too, so that it's ready to go. There we go. Oh, this is already a dangerous discovery for myself, because I do love a good oyster, and I've often thought, oh God, do I have to go out to a restaurant to enjoy these, or do I have to travel to a hotel or pay big dollars for a platter of oysters? It turns out, no, I can just do it at home. I got the knife now. Julie Monas, why would they use Tabasco when they leave all those when they have all those specialty sauces? Tabasco is actually a fantastic thing on top of oysters in general, but boy, I don't think I would need it for some of these, at least here. I think what I'm going to do is going to save most of these thinner ones. I'll get you the names of the actual, for those who are curious, if I can read them. Once again, what these are. So the flatter ones, the smaller ones, are the larger ones are the lighthouse oysters. And the extra small ones are paradise oysters. Both are Pacific varietals, because that's what's available here. No, Siri, I was not talking to you. While Paul gets his microphone set up here, I think I'm going to suggest that he have one of the paradises, because these are, in my opinion, the flavorful king of what we've got today. Yeah. That's
all right.
Great.
Hello.
Hello, Paul. Welcome once again to the screen in the studio here. You've escaped the crystal gondola.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to. Ooh, okay. I'm excited to let you give this a try. Right, I'm doing this wrong. I need to give this cover with my hand, then work the knife in.
Cover the oyster with your hand. Hide it from God.
Yep.
Woo!
Okay, that might have been a bit too far, but
And that is why you wear the glove.
Yep.
That like slip.
you got the glove, you got the towel. It's all there to keep your hands safe while you're learning how to do this properly.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully I sound okay. Nobody is monitoring the audio right now, so.
Okay. Make sure you're okay. You are okay. Clean off your shell there for you, though. And the traditional thing is to just slurp it in.
With because the idea is you want to get the liquor in there with it, right?
Yeah. And you're welcome to not chew if you don't feel like you want to, but you will miss out on a lot of flavor that way.
Right. Yeah. Just going straight.
Yeah, straight down. Straight down's the, I believe, the method for people who can't handle the texture, because it is an interesting texture.
I remember, as somebody who doesn't drink, I remember some friends went to a whiskey tasting thing, and they, and so you have some really nice whiskey, and we're doing stuff, and I was like, it's like, why in like westerns or whatever, it's always the like shoot it back. It's like, they're like, well, that's because that was very, very bad whiskey.
Yep.
The objective was to not taste it as much as possible.
Bad whiskey, and you're getting drunk. All right, there we go.
Alrighty. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like I said, I've had scallops and mussels and those kinds of things, and it's similar to that. But of course, I don't have those raw. And oh yeah, that's got that really that sort of seaweedy kind of.
But a fresh cucumber on that one, I think.
Fresh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the other ones, you get the same flavor, but it's a more iodine-y sea flavor on the back end than it is cucumber. So,
Iodine, yeah. I don't know what iodine tastes like.
Oh, okay, yeah. Have you ever smelled iodine?
I guess so, yeah.
It tastes like that. It's definitely like concentrated sea if you were to boil it down a bit.
It's definitely got a lot of the sea in there, yeah. But now I'm very interested to see what it's be like with these sauces.
Yeah, so I guess I honestly I kind of feel like I want to save the these ones or the Pacific, what would I call them? I've forgotten the name, but the ocean grown ones for just the raw eating, and then have these flatter boys go with
the flat ones, the lighthouse ones.
Yeah. So the lighthouse, put those under the grill, and then the bay oysters, put those directly into our mouths.
Iodine tastes like the pills we hand out when I worked in the nuclear industry. Weren't those iodine pills?
They would have been iodine pills, I believe.
I do like that all the explanations of what iodine tastes like have been just, like iodine.
You know that, don't you?
The way that iodine tastes or smells.
Okay, one last time. So yes, lighthouse for the. These are the lighthouse. These are the paradise.
Oh, okay.
Paradise is on the ground and is flat, and a lighthouse is big and tall. That's how we'll remember from now on. So let's get these guys shucked and into the broiler then, or ready for the broiler.
So the idea with that is that they are. Is it like they're cooked in the sauce, or they're cooked and then the sauce is put on top?
You put the sauce on top, and then you cook them until the sauce browns.
Oh, okay.
So not only are you browning the sauce on top, but you're also kind of in a way steaming or boiling the oyster in its own juices a little bit. More of a par cook.
In the shell.
Yep.
Ah. Right. On the
Okay.
half shell.
There we go. That one was a nice clean cut, and that's why we stack them cup side down like this. It keeps more of the internal water in it while they're just resting. But also, when we're shucking them, all the water just doesn't fall right out
Right,
the
of
flat
course.
side. I think I just used the towel as a wiping point.
Yeah, it's like how much of how much of it is just seawater and how much, but then there's like some extra something or other in there.
I guess their own.
Oyster poop, I guess. Whatever.
You know what? None of the places I have looked at have told me what the liquor is, and I think there might be a reason behind that. Oh, that's so much easier. Yeah, when you actually just slide the knife across,
Like, yeah, it's
releases the shell a lot easier. And then it's just a matter of
it reminds me a little bit of like like eating sort of like a mussel or something, where you sort of are, or a clam, you're eating it and there's sort of quite a few different textures of the different pieces of the animal, the different whatever internal organs, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know,
'cause
whatever. But there's just a little bit soft, a little bit
there's nothing crunchy in there, but
no.
this one's gonna give me some trouble. He said, immediately popping it open. Okay, I can see. It just takes. It definitely is a thing that takes practice, and I guess you get the practice by shucking oysters. Yep, just across the top. That brings it open.
Although, like, there isn't really, like, is there a market or a like, you can't really get like canned oysters, can you?
Oh, yes.
Is that a thing? I guess it is a thing.
Not necessarily. I mean, okay. So in your seafood department, you'll usually see little tubs of oysters that have been pre-shucked, and those generally get used for cooking because they're not fresh right out of the shell
Right.
like this. Then most commonly you'll also have, especially in my household around the Christmas time, canned smoked oysters.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And it's
Which
this-
are just almost like in like a sardine can or something.
Yeah, exactly. Usually packed in oil, and those are they're the same oysters. They're just different.
The smoking makes them a lot more substantial in terms of like a sort of a, I guess, more rubbery, but more sort of having a little more tooth to them.
You're
I guess.
definitely cooking them down. Oh, you really need to, yeah, kind of really find that one little point. There it is. And once you find it, you can lever it open and just run along the edge. And then it just should just open up. Run the knife. Like, I thought that this knife would need to be a lot sharper than it was, but it turns out it's just about.
Like, you're not really cutting anything, I guess, in a lot of ways. Like, you're mostly sort of separating
Yeah,
and levering rather than cutting.
exactly. Just kind of separating it from the shell edge, and then of course, the big muscle that attaches to the actual top of the shell too.
I feel like that knife would actually work really well as like a spudger.
Yeah, no, it's
I mean, you want to keep your spudging knife separate from your shucking knife in terms of food safety. But
I mean, I think I'm gonna be cleaning it either way. Is the big key. All right.
Anyway, let me go back in and we can swap to a different view here.
I'll bring you into the bring your baked oyster to you, as is tradition. But I am very glad to say that there is another person I know out there that enjoys an oyster every now and then.
Yeah, I'll switch back over to my other microphone here, but yeah, it's I feel like it's one of the things that I've found very interesting about running the tech on this show, and getting able to sample things that obviously, for the purposes of the show, you tend to be choosing things that are kind of unusual or interesting to cook, not necessarily things that you might cook in an everyday way.
Well, I mean,
maybe you will. I don't know.
Speak for oneself. But.
Yeah, but so yeah, that beet Reuben was particularly interesting.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little bit sad it took me as long as it did to start thinking about cooking multiple portions for the people in studio. But I guess we did kind of have that 2-year period where I was just cooking for myself each time. I don't think there's any reason to turn them over. I don't know why I'm doing it. I think maybe they look prettier that way. I don't think so. I don't think it matters.
It's sort of it also kind of ensures that you have fully released it from its
That's true.
shell, I guess.
That is true. Whew. Okay, if there's one thing I know, it's that everything that we've used today here that's staying in the moon base is going directly into the dishwasher, because otherwise there will be a smell.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Just lifts right up. Now, once you understand what the feeling is that you're looking for, it becomes a lot easier. Ooh. Oh, I missed some good meat there. Oh well.
We're worried about the smell during talking sim. There was, I remember one time that you were making some sort of shrimp dish that definitely noticed it the next day.
Ah, yes. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So I'm going to put one of these lighthouse clams into bake. And then I'll just, I guess, eat the rest of the other ones. Get you one with some sauce. Oh, that just popped open like nobody's business. And then just run it along. Okay, I'm going to try a little bit more gently this time to run it along the edge of the shell. Okay, and then we wipe the knife, and then we kind of try to too much shell action. Graze the top, yep, to release the muscle there. Unfortunately, this guy lost a lot of his juice, but that's okay. We're using you to bake anyway, so. Okay, let's check on how the preheating's doing. Well, those rods aren't getting any redder, so... and it is a grill situation, so I guess that's... we just go for it. Right. Phone now is having a day. Broil oysters, checking frequently until topping begins to brown and oysters are warm through 4 to 6 minutes. Lightly seasoned oysters with cayenne. Serve immediately, passing lime wedges and plenty of mezcal at the table. So maybe I'll just finish shucking these boys here, and then we'll move on to piping the things in, so that way we're not waiting on anything. Because 6 to 8 minutes can happen relatively quickly. Ooh. Here I'm getting bold, not using my towel. And then I'll just run that along the edge. So much extraneous shell on this one too. Oof. Lots of extraneous shell in the shell, this one too. Now we're okay. Great, but we do need to release the bottom. Otherwise it won't slide into the mouth. Okay, here comes another one. Another one. Oh, right there. Once you learn the amount of pressure you need, which is more than you initially think, but less than it's a hard thing to describe. It's one of those things you absolutely just have to experience yourself.
It's a delicate balance.
Yeah. It is an organic thing. Okay. In there. Point in. Point in. Point in. There it is. Wipe. Run along. Because there's this sort of musculature around the edges. Here we go. I can show it to you a bit. All running along the top here. That's all still good meat. It's just here where you need to cut it from the shell. And I don't have an example quickly to refer to where I did that badly, but yeah, here's a good example. So you can see this one, I did a bad job cutting, and there's a lot of muscle meat there that could be edible, but I'm just going to leave it. Whereas this one nicely, cleanly released all the way around the edges.
Mm. I guess you want to, I don't know what you do, how you raise oysters to be, you want some real tough, really muscular oysters. Maybe that's why the beach ones are, bigger. You get the beach body oysters.
Well, this isn't the biggest raw oyster I've ever had. That honor belongs to a huge guy I had in Japan. That honestly, the shell itself was as big as my hand, but the meat inside was as large as a medium-sized potato.
Wow!
And about the same size.
That is, that is a substantial.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a down in one bite.
It was not.
That could be bad if you get kind of caught halfway.
Yep. So that was that particular type of oyster. Honestly, as well, not the most flavorful.
I mean, I guess that is often the case with the overly large ones tend to be of different things tend to not be quite as flavorful.
Mm-hmm. Not really surprised, but also still real good value for money. Two of those for $5 got us through most of that day.
Are there are there sort of many varieties of oysters that are used for food?
Paul, when I started looking, I was amazed at how many different types of oysters there are. And that's not even getting into the whole East Coast versus West Coast issue.
That East Coast, West Coast oyster beef.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I should mention that's probably come up in the chat. I haven't been able to keep as much an eye on it as I'd like to. But the other thing that people might question is, hey, Ian, this is August. Aren't you supposed to not eat oysters in months that don't have an R in them?
Somebody mentioned that as one of those like random bits of like folksy wisdom.
Yep. And it's a bit of folksy wisdom. There is some truth to it in that the breeding season for oysters is during the summer. And so you're generally not going to be getting...
How do the oysters know how the month is spelled?
I think there may be something more mysterious going on behind the scenes of these oysters than the eye might reveal. But yeah, that's what it's come down to, is that oysters breed during the summer, and they're not as not as large and hearty as they are in the winter months. And but they're fine if they're farmed well. They'll be fine. They will eat.
So we're very close to September.
Yeah, exactly. It's the tail end. Should be fine.
Here in August.
All right, let's get to piping some stuff on top of these boys, shall we?
So this is so the don't eat them in months that don't have an R in them is less is not like it's dangerous. It's just that they tend to be smaller.
They can be smaller. They can be less flavorful. They're less good, and that is true. But there's also something to be said for the way things were stored back in the olden times. And
there's a lot of sort of general rules of thumb that are based on people not having refrigerators, or not having freezers.
So anyway, if you want to pipe something, take a bag, put it in a mixing bowl that's big enough for you to spread the edges of the Ziploc bag over the edges, and then dump your stuff in. Use the edge of a table to scrape things towards the side, so that you're not just kind of pushing things around, and then give it a little twist. Pinch the end of your bag on the corner, give it a little snip, and piping is your uncle.
Get piped.
Okay. Get a bit more here and there.
To be fair to the folks during the cupcake thing, I think the problem was less the piping and more the like 3-pronged end on the piping thing. That just complicated the whole system.
Okay, and then we can use the second Ziploc bag to seal it up, go corner to corner. And if you're a freak like me, you can just vacuum it up. It doesn't always work.
To answer Butt Ghost's question, what is the filling? It is poblano pepper and
Shallots.
shallots.
Scallions. salt, crema, or sour cream in our case, lime zest, and I think that's it. Maybe one other thing. Salt. Yeah, oh, and coriander powder. It's a take on Oysters Rockefeller that Serious Eats calls Loxafeller.
So, what is in the actual Oysters Rockefeller?
I've got my recipe here with me. I'm just going to finish slicing that lime here so we can enjoy that. Right. This is, okay. Oysters Rockefeller. That recipe consists of same amount of butter, twice the amount of butter. 8 tablespoons of butter, 2 large shallots, 2 celery ribs, 1/2 fennel bulb, 4 medium garlic cloves, 3 scallions, 1 tablespoon absinthe instead of the mezcal, fresh parsley instead of the coriander. You still have the panko, and the oysters. It's pretty similar, but this uses crema and also uses the, instead of fennel and celery, uses the poblano pepper as its smoky finish. Ooh. Speaking of smoky finishes, let's try one of these with some of the mignonette. And grab you. And a little bit of the mignonette. And past the lips and also the tongue, look out stomach. I didn't release you from your bottom. All right, bit more mignonette. The peppercorns have absolutely taken over here. So
Saying it may have been a little heavy on the peppercorns.
maybe just a bit. But I think it's going to be fine. Did you want one with the mignonette as well?
Sure. I'll give that a shot.
I will deliver to you. That one seems deliverable. I'll try to avoid getting any actual peppercorns in your mix here this time. Yeah, I've never had Oysters Rockefeller myself, so this one will be an interesting change.
Is that because it was a recipe that was prepared for the Rockefellers, or is that just like to give the impression that it was like a very decadent thing?
I think it might have actually been a Rockefeller Hotel original, but I honestly don't know the etymology of that system. Here. It's not often we have dishes here at the Moon Base that provide their own plating.
All right. I will endeavor to get a good slurp in here on the mic.
Please. I'll make sure to have a small mezcal. The Pixel Savage tells us Oysters Rockefeller was created in 1889 at the New Orleans restaurant Antoine by Jules Alchiattore, the son of founder Antoine Alchiattore. So.
Ooh, that oyster kind of bit back a little bit.
Oh,
oh, just with the I guess it was the vinegar or I don't know what it was, but because you're slurping it down a bunch and you go, oh, there's something spicy or
yeah.
there in there.
Yeah, that would be the pepper and pepper vinegar shallot mixture.
But very tasty.
Good, good. Which do you have a preference?
I do feel like at that point it's more of a textural thing. Like I don't know if I'm getting a whole lot of the actual flavor of the oyster.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is overpowering a bit.
Yeah, the sauce is. I mean, the sauce is nice, but it is quite strong. Like I feel like that sauce could go on basically anything, and it would be tasty, but basically tastes the same.
Yeah.
as that.
Yeah, I think it kind of takes away from the. It's nice, but it takes away from the flavor of the oyster itself, which is kind of what we're here for, isn't it?
That's true.
I'm gonna try one more with a. Ooh, did I? I didn't time that, so we should just have a look here. It's gonna need a bit more time because they want it to be browned on the top. I'm gonna try one here with a bit of lime to it. Ooh.
Okay, yeah. So the Oysters Rockefeller, it was named after Rockefeller, but it was not made for Rockefeller. It was just to give the impression that it was very decadent.
Yes. And of course, I'm sure there is no evidence that Rockefeller ever actually had Oysters Rockefeller. Ooh, okay. Hawksreeks asked, I don't do seafood. What are oysters like if you were to draw a comparison to another food?
All the comparisons I can think of are just like other seafood, like a mussel or a clam, which probably isn't that helpful if you're not eating seafood. I mean, like seaweed, yeah, it's definitely got that seaweed. You're just saying it's got a little bit of sort of cucumbery taste.
Yeah, cucumbery taste on the back end. Honestly, it's texturally, it's like the tenderest chicken you've ever had.
Or almost like, Jell-O or something.
Yeah, Jell-O would not be a bad idea as well. And yeah, it tastes like the ocean. That's really the only way I could say. Take the ocean, dial it back a couple things, make it a little bit more round in the taste, if that's a way that I can describe something. And that's it.
Yeah, it's almost like it's got that sort of almost like it's like almost a Jell-O, or like egg white, like uncooked egg white, or not uncooked, but like
just set egg white.
Yeah, but then there'll be a little bit of, it's sort of got quite a bit of different, like there's some parts that are a little bit more substantial, I guess, the sort of muscly area.
Oh God, I've been doing such a bad job with these oysters, disconnecting them. No wonder they can't slurp. Need to be better at.
Yeah, jellied sea is what I'm hearing. I think that's probably a pretty accurate estimation.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is too that different oyster breeds taste differently. Like we've both experienced that today already. That these two oysters are. Except you didn't. Sorry, Paul.
That's okay.
Yeah, but
it is that, and it's obviously, if you are, I would imagine, if you're, as with tasting any kind of thing, as you become more experienced tasting it, you probably start the sort of nuances of the flavor. The first time you taste it, it's like, salty, or, seawater or whatever, and it's like, these all taste like seawater, I don't get it. But then it's, there's more subtlety as you get into it.
There's a sweetness that I'm trying to put my finger on. It's almost like it's like a sweet bread that, almost as if you were to have a cinnamon bun. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's like an old-fashioned cake donut without frosting, mixed with nori, like toasted nori.
I'm just imagining how disappointed a small child would be if you were like, you should try this. It's like a donut.
It's like a bad donut.
Child would never believe anything you said ever again.
Well, okay, did I actually do this one right? Yes, I did. This one, okay, this one will come to my mouth. Thank you. Yep. I think I have to say my favorite combination so far, like the mignon's fine. It's nice. As you say, it would go well with just about anything. But is a raw oyster, a raw lighthouse oyster benefits quite nicely from a very simple, just hint of a squeeze of lime. And I'm sure would also go really well with some Tabasco as well, because that's been. I enjoy a hot sauce, and I do enjoy specifically Tabasco as a hot sauce. It's just a good hot sauce.
Although after spending 2 or 3 hours making these elaborate sauces, being like, or Tabasco.
Well, remember, we do have a time to fill, and I think we're coming close to that time as well here.
We are, yeah. We're going a little long already, actually.
Oh, are we? Oh, yep. Well, let's have a look at what we've got in the oven, and hopefully it's ready to go. Good. I have one more towel left I can use to protect my hands. Good estimates, Ian. Oh, and in terms of good estimates, oh, this is absolutely perfect.
Oh, good. The way your inflection was, I wasn't quite sure how that sentence was going to end. Yeah. Oh, this is absolutely ruined.
Now, well, you know what? We got to try one before we call it an end of a show, right? That's how we do things here. How are you on cayenne pepper?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
These already have the sweetness or the spiciness of the poblanos, I guess, but those are relatively minor.
Oh, they're incredibly mild, but
It's looked like these oysters have been left out for a very long time. Started to grow green stuff.
I'm a little concerned about the look of that too, but to be honest, it will be absolutely fine. Okay, let's get you lime, and unfortunately, these ones don't necessarily have a dish, but I'm going to come deliver you one here.
Right, I guess the thing that we were using as the dish is now hot.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, good. I do have one of these.
Right. I guess you also don't want to slurp it straight from the thing.
Yeah. You're gonna get a lime and a spoon with this. Oh, to heck with it. Let's get you things you need. Oh, wait a second. That was the. I'll be right back. I chose the wrong one. I have to do a comparison, don't I? There we go. Just give yourself a little squeeze when you're ready, and then.
Thank you. So you squeeze the lime on it?
I have not squeezed yet.
No, but that is you should.
Yeah, that's
one should squeeze lime onto it.
That's the idea. So I'm told by the recipe. Where is my spoon that I was using for everything?
Do I have your spoon?
No, I got 2 spoons, and that was the clean one. Ah, because it's in the mignonette. That's why.
You're so great with your fancy 2 spoons.
All right, let's give a little drizzle of the lime on top there. Gonna get my spoon. Wipe it off. Cleanse the palate. Let's see how it is. The shells are definitely hot, and I can see that the oysters firmed up as well, quite significantly. This is quite hot as well. I'm going to pour the liquor into my spoon, and here we go. That's decadent.
Oh, I really like the oyster having been sort of cooked a little bit. It gives a little bit more body, a little bit more tooth to it that I really like. Something that my dad used to make, something that, my dad is one of these cooks that sort of, is a very, shall we say, experimental cook, or more just, make stuff with whatever's around. But
that's great.
He used to make something that we would call just like the seafood concoction, right? Which is, it was just sort of like a white sauce with shrimp and scallops and mussels and, all sorts of stuff in kind of a white wine kind of a sauce. It was very, very tasty. And the cooked the cooked oyster reminds me a lot of that. In fact, I mean maybe it's the sourness of the yogurt or something, but it almost has kind of a wine taste to it.
It does. I think that's coming from the combination of the shallots and the cream, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, definitely a lovely taste. Drew, is a professional sommelier, says I would recommend something like a Côte d'Aron with peppery oysters. The pepperiness of this mezcal is honestly really pairing very well. Like a little sip of that with each oyster has been divine in its pepperiness. So I've tried 2 now with the Rockefeller, and this is really good. It's not exactly what I'm looking for when I want to shuck some oysters. I really like the raw stuff, but I could absolutely see serving this maybe at a holiday party for people who don't necessarily like raw oysters, or alongside a raw oyster platter.
And I mean, like I was saying, any other clams or mussels or any other kind of that sort of, even like shrimp or something would be delicious in that sauce.
Oh yeah, no, I've got a bunch of this sauce. Excuse me, left. And I think what I might just end up doing with it is, maybe some shrimp broiled, and then add this into it. This could just do well as a taco mixture as well, with some meatier meat to go along with it to provide some body. But I'm about to try the lighthouse oyster. So we both had the paradise oysters with this, and this is going to be the different flavor. We're going to see how much that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if that can actually come through.
Because this cooking method has absolutely neutralized the iodine taste of the other oysters. Okay, so the lighthouse oysters absolutely just disappear into the flavor of the topping, which is not a bad thing. I'm going to very quickly just dunk another one into my face here just to do a quick compare contrast while the flavor is in my mind. But I can absolutely there's almost none of the oyster flavor coming through, which is interesting and maybe not bad, but
Would you say that it has that the paradise oysters maintain their flavor a little bit more?
No, I would not.
So, like in a blind taste test between these two types of oysters, with this topping on it, you would be hard pressed to tell the difference.
I could definitely tell you that these are the paradise oysters, because there is a little bit more oyster flavor to it, but the distinctive flavor of the oyster just was obliterated by the heat.
What about texturally? Is the lighthouse oyster was a little more substantial? It seemed like.
Yeah, and I would say that there was texturally now no difference between the two of them. In fact, I'd say that the paradise oyster is a bit meatier, honestly.
Interesting.
Even than the other, because it disintegrated. I could barely tell that there was something there in my mouth. It was like adding more butter to the mix. That's the difference. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. With the paradise oyster, I can definitely feel that I've got something meaty in my mouth that I'm eating. Whereas the lighthouse, again, like a buttery bomb of protein that just kind of disintegrates itself. It's very interesting to see that much difference in taste between both raw and cooked versions of two ostensibly the same animal.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I imagine like a lot of the sort of liquor and a lot of the flavor notes go away as it's cooked.
Did you make sure to get the liquor from yours when you were?
Yeah.
I forgot to in the first one I had from this Rockefeller, and then the second I made sure to pour it all into the mouth, and huge difference.
Oh, the liquor is especially that combined with the topping is very, very nice.
Oh, this has been a amazingly flavorful experiment that I'll absolutely be doing myself in the future. Maybe not on stream though all the time, but I am so happy that all of y'all were here to experience this with us. I'm leaning over here because there's a lot of water on this table that we're going to have to deal with. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching Tinker Tailor Solent Fry. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Whether you've been chatting in the chat live at twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun, if you're commenting over at youtube.com/loadingreadylive, or, all the other ways you can engage with us. store.loadingreadyrun.com, twitch.tv/loadingreadyrun, and of course, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. You can do that any time of day. They never close. Just keep going there and, I guess, keep upping that patronage, or make a new one. Make a brand new person and have them subscribe to us. No one will know. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Once again, we will see you. Oh God, I can't use that phrase anymore. See you in 4 weeks, never in fortnight. Ever forward, learning out of spite. Good night.